Hello crochet friends, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia and today I'm bringing you another crochet project using this Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel Cotton Sparkle cake yarn. And this will actually be, I believe, my fourth project using this yarn. I had previously done a poncho, a long vest, and a shrug. All of these designs use a different stitch for entirely different looks. If you would like to see the previous designs, please head over to my homepage. So at the bottom of the video, you'll see where it says Crazy Cool Crochet. Click on that. That takes you to the homepage. At the top of that page, click where it says videos, and that will take you to all of my previous designs. So for this project, for the size small, it took 2 of these cakes, 5 ounces each, and we used an F hook, F as in Frank, or a 3.75 millimeter. We'll need some scissors and the yarn needle. For detail for additional sizes, follow along with the video or go down in the white space or what is called a description box. Open that up. You might have to open it. It might say show more. It might have 3 little dots. Figure out how to open up that description box because you will find a lot more detail down there. Don't forget to go to the blog crazycoolcrochet.com to see written patterns for my previous designs. And of course, my Etsy shop for the written patterns. Crazy Cool Crochet US as in United States .etsy.com. Now to get started with this crochet shell stitch summer top, we use a multiple of 6 plus 3. Now I will be working from a swatch, but for a size small, you will start with a chain of 75. Then we are going to work a single crochet into each chain. You will skip that very first chain. Do not count the one on the hook. So in that second chain, work a single crochet. Single crochet in every chain till you get to the end. You will have 74 single crochets. At the end of that first row, chain 3 and turn. Now we're going to skip the first 3 stitches. And do start with that first one right under that turning chain. We'll count that as the first stitch. 1, 2, 3. In the 4th, work a double crochet. In the same stitch, work 2 more double crochets. Now chain 2. In the same stitch, work 3 more double crochets. I'm going to call that a cluster. Now you will skip 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 6th stitch, you will repeat that. You're going to work your cluster. So that will be 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Chain 2. 3 double crochets again in the same stitch. Now you will repeat that until you get to the last 4 stitches. Okay, so you will skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the next stitch, work the cluster. Skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the next stitch, work the cluster. and that will bring you to the last 4 stitches. Now skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and the last stitch, work a double crochet. And then you will chain 3 and turn. Now on row 3, you will work your clusters in the chain 2 spaces. So work your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. Then go right into the next one, the next chain 2 space, and work your cluster. Chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. So just repeat that until you get to the last cluster and work your cluster into that space. Now at the end of that row, which by the way is the repeat row, you will have completed that last cluster. Now you will work a double crochet into the top of that turning chain. Chain 3 and turn. And then repeat that for the remainder of the panel. So easy. And the stitch is so pretty. So now work that row or that repeat pattern for a total of 30 rows of the shells. So we're not counting that first row here, the single crochet row. 30 of the shell stitch rows for size small. When you get to the end, do not cut off the yarn. When you complete your last row, you would have done your double crochet into the turning chain as usual. Now chain 1. Now we're going to work an edging or a border along the side, along the edge, the side edge. So turn your work so the long edge is facing you, and all we're going to do is enter 2 single crochets into each large space. So in that first space, work 1 single crochet, and then in the next, work 2 single crochets. In the next large space, work 2 single crochets and continue that down the edge. Now if at some point it feels like it's going to buckle on you because the stitches are too tight, go ahead and add an extra single crochet into the smaller space. That's perfectly okay. There's no stitch count here. Just do whatever looks the best. When you're done with this, at the end, go ahead and tie off the yarn, and then go back to the other side, attach the yarn, and this is right side facing you. So you'll attach the yarn in the corner and then do the same thing, working a row of single crochets all along the edge, and then you can tie off the yarn. And by the way, the front facing you is the side with the beginning foundation chain. There's the tail. So that makes this the right side. Now you would have completed 2 identical panels, front and back. Now we're going to seam the shoulders. So you want the panels right sides facing each other. Right sides are touching, wrong side is out. And you will use the yarn needle and the length of yarn Now you will have predetermined the width of the neck opening. So you figure out what you like. I usually use about an 8-inch opening, and if you prefer, you can also use a stitch marker to mark where you will end your shoulder seam for the neck opening. Now I typically just use a piece of contrasting yarn. Now I just use a regular whip stitch to seam. So enter the yarn or attach the yarn at the cornermost stitches. I like to use a net to secure it. And then just go through 2 strands on each panel. And you're just going to go around and around and around. So do that until you get to your stitch marker. And then tie off the yarn. Before you tie off the yarn, however, when you get to the stitch marker, come back over a few stitches over this way and then tie off the yarn. And of course, repeat on the other side. After your shoulder seams are complete, there's your neck opening. Now we're going to seam the edges, the sides. So again, determine the opening width for your arm, which is about 8 inches. So put your stitch marker right there and then seam from the bottom up. And you can use the same whip stitch. So just go around and around under the 2 strands on each side and then tie off the yarn. And here's the completed crochet shell stitch summer top. Now this does look very plain on the table, but of course once you put it on, it's just adorable. And it is an open weave, so I will be wearing it with a tank top underneath. And this is absolutely a beginner-friendly crochet wearable. So I do encourage beginners to give it a try. It's really easy, works up fast, very easy to wear. So I hope you've enjoyed this design, this tutorial, and I encourage you to give me a thumbs up down at the bottom. Give it a like. That's super helpful to the channel. And I hope that you come back for the next project. Thank you so much for watching.